Hey family, welcome back to Helen, the Bible lover. Today I've got a story to share, not just any story, but one that's always felt close to my heart. You see, my son is named Abraham, and like the Abraham of the Bible, I believe he's someone called to be a friend of God and a model of unwavering faith. When I think of Abraham in the Bible, I'm reminded of courage, of big risks, and even bigger trust. So grab your Bible or just settle in, because I'm about to take you on a journey through the life of Abraham, a story that's packed with suspense, tests, and the kind of faith that still inspires us today. Imagine you're living your best life in a city called Ur of the Chaldees. It's comfortable, it's familiar, and let's be real, you're pretty established. But then, one night, God calls your name. Leave everything, your country, your people, your father's household, and go to a land I will show you. That's exactly what happened to Abraham. Well, his name back then was Abram, which means exalted father. And what does he do? He doesn't ask for Google Maps. He doesn't negotiate. He just packs up and goes, not knowing where he's going. Would you do that? Could you leave everything familiar behind because God whispered your name? So Abram steps out in faith. He's about 75 years old, not exactly young and spry, but God promises him something wild. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you, and all the peoples of the earth will be blessed through you. Here's the suspense. He's got no kids. His wife, Sarai, is beautiful, but they've been trying for years with no success. Yet Abraham believes. He builds altars, he prays, and he trusts. But let's be real, even the friend of God had his messy moments. He goes to Egypt during a famine and lies about Sarai being his sister. He's got Lot, his nephew, who's, well, let's just say, not the best roommate. And he's waiting and waiting and waiting for this promised son. At one point, he and Sarai get impatient. Sarai says, "Here's my maid Hagar, have a child with her," and Abraham agrees. Ishmael is born, but this wasn't God's perfect plan. Talk about a plot twist. But God never forgot his promise. At 99 years old, Abraham hears the words that make him laugh out loud. Sarai will have a son. Can you imagine? Abraham's like, really? I'm an old man. But God says, is anything too hard for me? And sure enough, Isaac is born, the son of promise. A moment of pure joy, a baby's cry in a tent that's waited decades for laughter. Sarah even says, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. But the story doesn't end with a baby. One day, God says, take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and sacrifice him. Wait, what? The same son he waited decades for? The same promise God gave him? Yet here's the twist that shows Abraham's character. He obeys. Early the next morning, he sets out with Isaac up the mountain. No hesitation, no backup plan. He ties Isaac to the altar, knife in hand, ready to give up what he loves most. At the very last moment, God says, "Stop, now I know you fear me." And there's a ram in the thicket, God's provision in the place of sacrifice. That's why Abraham is called the father of faith. Not because he was perfect, he wasn't. Not because he never doubted, he did. But because in the end, he always chose to trust God. The New Testament calls Abraham God's friend. Generations later, Jesus would be born from Abraham's family line, the ultimate blessing to all the nations. And that's why I named my son Abraham, because I want him to know that faith isn't about never failing. It's about never giving up on God. So what can we learn from Abraham's life? Trust God even when it makes no sense. Hold on to promises even when they take forever. And be willing to lay everything down, because God's plans are always better. Let me know in the comments. What part of Abraham's journey speaks to you the most? And if you're in a season of waiting or testing, remember, God is faithful. He finishes what he starts. If this story encouraged you, please like, comment, and subscribe to Helen, the Bible Lover, where we share faith that stands the test of time. And until next time, keep trusting, keep hoping, and keep walking by faith.